show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, where we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so, and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this. I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on. I put 2025 on it, because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school. You did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet. And it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh, yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, no, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian.
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble, when it goes to court here. Is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument, because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bouncing him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Ten seconds remaining.
There'll be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable, gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but, God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things. And I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard. And if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
5, 3.
Red 57! Red 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Bill McKenzie kicks a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for Tuesday. Thanks for joining us as we're in the middle of the week. Mountaineer Sports Talk on the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. I'm Kyle Wiggs. Brad Howes back in studio. Good evening.
Good evening to you.
We've sent Coach Hunter to football. So he's there running reconnaissance, and he'll report back at some point.
Got a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And, of course, we're coming off the state basketball championship, so we're going to visit with many of the outstanding players from that event. We heard from Eli Smith and the victorious coach Brad Napper from AAA Chapmanville last night. Tonight, it's single A. We're going to hear from Rabbit. Garland Rabbit Thompson will join us, and his standout player, Braydun Ferris. They're scheduled to join us on Sportsline. And, again, Greg's at football, and if everything stayed on schedule, Coach Rodriguez is speaking right now.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully we'll hear from him a little bit later.
We'll turn some of that around and have that on towards the end of the show. Your texts are available, 304-TALK-304. And, again, top of mind for everyone is that tremendous game at the Coliseum last night in front of another sellout crowd, a second-round NCAA tournament game, and Kentucky wins it. West Virginia fell behind, battled all the way back, and had just an unbelievably good look to win the game in the final seconds. But the player has been West Virginia's leading scorer all season and has carried them and has done so many tremendous things. It just broke your heart, not only for the team to lose, but for her personally. And the shot just didn't fall. One of those things, you had the look, you had the opportunity, the shot didn't fall. So it's Kentucky advancing 74-73.
We'll get a lot of texts on this, and we'd love to hear from you at 304-TALK-304, because what a wonderful season for the women's basketball team. What a wonderful couple of events at the Coliseum. And I just give so much credit to Mark Kellogg, this group of players, and then the fans. And you and I were talking before the show, and we talked a lot about this on Three Guys Before the Game. There's a new episode out today that Mountaineer fans, when there is an event to rally around, they come out in full force. They can take a big event and explode the thing. And we've seen that across all kinds of sports, be it West Virginia baseball in a regional. We've now seen it in women's basketball hosting the NCAA tournament. We've seen it football before a Penn State game or before a Pitt game. We've seen it in men's basketball time and time again. And the fans do such a tremendous job. So first of all, a shout out to them for yesterday. As you know, I called in the show from yesterday. Kyle, it was a zoo, and it was as loud in that building as it can possibly get. It was outstanding. What a great environment. And it's why I give a lot of credit to Kentucky. For them to be able to come in and win in that environment against that good of a team, that's a heck of a win for those Wildcats. So, but just an incredible night. And the way I phrased it, Kyle, is Mark and this group of players took the program and they moved it forward. Mm-hmm. They did that a couple years ago going against Iowa and Caitlin Clark in Iowa City. That pushed the program forward. This is another step forward. And I know they didn't get to the Sweet 16, but, man, you're right when you describe that. That's an inch away from a historic shot. And the one thing that bums me out the most, I feel terrible that Gia didn't get that moment. But, Kyle, if that thing goes, it's not only one of the most historic shots in Mountaineer sports history, never mind women's basketball history, in Mountaineer sports history, that thing was staring at 1 million+ views on social media because of the way she did it. Mm-hmm. She crossed that Kentucky player over. If you haven't seen the highlight, go find it. She crosses the Kentucky player over and didn't just create an open shot for herself, made a highlight video open shot. The girl falls down. It was an unbelievable move by Gia, a great crossover, and I'm just bummed she didn't get the chance to be a legendary figure for making one of the biggest shots. And hopefully she'll be back next year and you can run it back with a new group of teammates. But at the end of the day, I'll remember this season for moving the program forward.
Absolutely.
They picked it up and they carried the whole thing forward on the backs of all those Mountaineer fans that showed up those last 2 games. Just a wonderful night over at the Coliseum, even though it didn't end the way we wanted it to end. It was a great celebration of a wonderful team.
Something that hadn't happened in 30-plus years, home games in the NCAA tournament. You win one, you sell them both out. You have the opportunity to move on to the Sweet 16. So you're right. I mean, that's forward progress. That's enormous forward progress. And, again, you've got a couple of these players returning. You have to get back in the portal and recruit. You bring in young players that you hope to build around for a period of years, and you continue to grow. And what this did, it showed the NCAA, it showed everybody that West Virginia is worthy of an event. And, Mountaineer fans – you're right. They grab a hold of these things. The way they've supported women's basketball and baseball and soccer in the past. Both the men's and the women's soccer teams have gone to the College Cup, and they get great support. So, credit Mountaineer fans for grabbing a hold of these events and making them huge.
Yeah, and credit the athletic department. Putting on these events is hard. It's not like a regular home game. There's a lot of other things that go into it, and it was expertly run over there. They all did a great job from top to bottom staff-wise. And you start to look at players, Kyle, and yeah, now Mark goes out and he has to rebuild this thing. But a couple things. One, you're sitting on one of the best coaches in college basketball. I think if you didn't know that before, that's clearly evident now after the first 3 years, most wins in the first 3 years of any coach in history. A very talented coach, and has the ability to evaluate and recruit really well. I mean, you start to look down, just look at the list of just stars last night, and start with Jordan Harrison. How about what Jordan Harrison has meant to this program? And I said this on Three Guys too. I think if you didn't know this, hopefully you know it now. There's great coaches all over this country at different levels. Just because you haven't been in a Power Four yet doesn't mean you're not a great coach. And I think Mark's a perfect example of that. He has assimilated right into this level and been very, very good. Jordan's the same way. There's great players everywhere. Just because you weren't a Power Four recruit coming out of high school doesn't mean you can't play at this level. And Jordan certainly showed that and more. From a recruiting standpoint, you went out and got Gia Cook. You mentioned how good she's been all year offensively in particular. She puts up 23 points last night and was almost the hero in that game. You talk about Mimi Wheeler. How about the game she had? Mismatched in terms of size. Kentucky was big, as we talked last night, and talented inside. And Wheeler finds a way to get 16 and go 8 of 11 against the nation's number 7 shot blocker in the game. I thought that was really impressive. She was a great find. So you go down just this list of players you've been able to plug in. Sydney Shaw comes in as a transfer from Auburn and is an outstanding shooter. Man, you saw her getting blistering hot last night in the second half. Just could have used maybe one more, Kyle, and get you over the hump right there. But Mark has shown an ability, and this staff for Mark has shown an ability to go out and identify talent, identify people that will fit in their system, and make that happen. To do what they did this season on the backs of losing one of the program's all-time greats, and J.J. Quinterly, who's playing at the next level in the WNBA, just remarkable. So yeah, I think you have to have a lot of confidence in what this program can go out and do and bring in for next year and just reload this thing.
304 Talk 304, your thoughts, were you there? What was it like? Did it compare to the biggest and the best men's games that you've been to at the Coliseum? Give us your thoughts. 304 Talk 304. We're going to spend this first segment going over that, and then again we'll talk high school basketball and eventually Mountaineer football coming up in the next segment. But again, going up against that size, it was daunting, and West Virginia was right there. You saw Mimi Wheeler, take the ball right to the basket around those players many times. And again, West Virginia found a way to combat that size and give themselves a chance to win.
Yeah, her ability she did a couple things. One, she pulled them out away from the basket, hit a couple shots, but her ability to navigate and work inside against that size was tremendous. And I think it came down to a couple things. One, Kentucky was able to play its style more than West Virginia was able to inflict its style, and that really came in the points off turnover category. West Virginia had 9 live ball turnovers in the game, or forced 9 live ball turnovers, but they only converted that into 6 points, Kyle. So it's about 0.67 points per possession. On the season, West Virginia, one of the best in the country in that category, averaged almost double that points per possession. So again, in a game that came down to one basket from inches, you're looking for a play here or there would have made a difference. One more conversion off one of your turnovers that could change that game potentially. And then number 2, and I thought this was the key matchup going in, is Kentucky's ability to protect the rim. And so not only do they block shots, I mentioned Strack with number 7 in the country in block shots, but they just discourage shots at the rim most of the time. Only 15% of Kentucky's opponent's shots came at the rim all season. 15%, Kyle. So teams weren't even challenging them there. West Virginia, conversely, takes 40% of his shots at the rim. So that was going to be a good on good. What wins out? Here's the final numbers. West Virginia took 37% of its shots at the rim. It did not back down a second. It went right at Kentucky. But the downside, you went just 9 of 22 on shots at the rim. And ultimately, in a game that came down to one basket here or there, if you could have been 11 for 22 or 12 of 22, you walk away with a win. But ultimately, Kentucky's inside presence defensively, I think, was the difference.
Yeah, Strack ended up with 4 blocks. They had 6 total, but Strack was extremely important in the press break. The way that she handled the ball, they got it to her numerous times in the middle of the floor. Now, she almost walked a couple of times and maybe got away with 1 or 2. But again, the way she managed things, you throw it up to your 6'5" in the middle of the floor, and she navigated that. That really, really helped Kentucky navigate West Virginia's pressure.
Agree. She was very composed too. And then the pass off the pass to the middle one, and then Key, one of their other bigs at 6'4", her ability to handle it up the floor and not get picked time and time again was a big difference in that. So their ability to control their turnovers and their inside presence, forcing some misses by West Virginia, ultimately proved to be a difference.
Texter says, congrats to the WVU ladies. Heck of a season. Clock should have been adjusted. DVR showed the ball out of bounds at 0.5, and the official signaled at 0.4, but they didn't change it, right? It stayed at 0.2.
I was surprised by that as well. And again, I think if you give them an explanation, they looked at it enough, they would argue with the texter, but I tend to agree. That surprised me that didn't change time. Once you got possession, and you figured West Virginia was going to get awarded the ball, that review was taking a long time. So you figured it was a 2-part review. The first part should have been easy. Whose possession, then the time. I was surprised as well that more time wasn't put back on the clock.
Texter's perspective on this, the uniqueness of last night's crowd as compared to Saturday. This texter believes about 75 or 80% of the people came from Morgantown, and many people walk from Suncrest and other local neighborhoods. So that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. Texter says,
well, real quick, a lot of people were parking in those neighborhoods too. I have some friends that came up from 2 hours away. You had to park in different spots because I told you, I called you right after. Yeah, it was a zoo. I was there 2 hours early, 15 minutes after the lots opened, and when I parked, there were 50 spots around me. It didn't take 15 minutes for that to fill up. I mean, again, that's the other part of this. At some point, it's absolutely outrageous that the women's basketball tournament was played during the times in which it was played. We're standing there at 4:30 in the afternoon before West Virginia tips off at 5 o'clock, which is a weird time. It filled the building, but it's a weird time. And I'm watching the Iowa game. That thing tipped off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday in Iowa City. Now, it filled up. Credit to their fans, too. There was another game at 11. Louisville played in the morning. So at some point, the ESPN's got to get itself together and make some more fan-friendly times for this. But point remains, the parking was a zoo. But here's what's interesting, too. The general admission nature of a lot of those seats, I think, added to kind of the fun craziness of the environment.
You had to get there.
You had to get there. So the lots filled. The lines were outside in every gate. And, again, they got you through about as fast as you could do it. But there were a ton of people there early and in the building early.
Texter says, I think Kentucky players were able to gain favor on more than one call. So we always go there, always go there. Texter says, what an atmosphere last night. It was louder than some of the greatest men's games in history. So proud of these players. This program has taken a huge step forward. There's a lot to be excited about for the future of WVU women's basketball. And this texter came from Romney to watch the game at the Coliseum last night. Another texter, I was there Saturday and Monday. What a great environment, asking when the transfer portal for women's basketball is. It's the same as all the others.
Yeah, as soon as the national championship's over, it starts.
304 Talk 304. We'll go back to the text line in just a little bit, but we're celebrating with the high school players as well, those who won championships last week and those who had great games and great tournaments and we'll do that when we return. Single A, Tug Valley has got it locked down 3 in a row, a historic run for Tug Valley. We'll visit with the coach and also with Braydun Ferris, as well as the Sportsline continues on. Since 1979, the health plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The health plan.
WVU Medicine Nephrology is committed to providing advanced kidney care at its primary location in Morgantown's Suncrest Town Center, and also at outreach sites in Buchanan, Clarksburg, Elkins, Fairmont, Flatwoods, Grafton, Kaiser, Moorfield, and Summersville in West Virginia, and Oakland, Maryland. Our expert team of nephrologists use the latest diagnosis and treatment methods. Call 855-WVU-CARE or visit wvumedicine.org/nephrology.
Answering a text or phone call while driving seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
With Metro News Hotline, if it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have 2 vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from Norwegian think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
Setting that statewide sports line for Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. We'll get back to the text here in a bit, but we are going to celebrate Tug Valley State Championship. And Brad, you ready? You want to know how historic the run, the Tug Valley, how historic the run is? Here's the list. 3 or more state championship winners. Go back to the 50s with Woodrow Wilson. You've got, of course, the North Fork dynasty of 8 in a row. Mullins in the 1980s, legendary program. Wheeling Central, another talent-laden legendary program. They won 3 in a row, actually won 4 in a row. Huntington, all the superstars they had. Mm-hmm. And then Morgantown High with Sharon Young most recently. Yes. That's it.
So this was Tug Valley was the 7th, right?
Yes.
If I've done the math right there.
Tug Valley.
7th, 3 in a row champion. Amazing.
Head coach Garland Rabbit Thompson is with us. And, Coach, first of all, good evening to you.
Good evening. How you guys doing up there?
We're doing great. So how does it feel to be a part of that list with those legendary programs, players, and coaches?
Well, that's awesome. It's just hard to fathom, some of those teams that you just mentioned. O.J. Mayo, Herbie Brooks, those were great teams. Norfolk, Russell Todd, great coaches, great players. Just happy that our kids and our school's a part of that.
Coach, take us back to Saturday, and again, your standout player, Braydun Ferris, comes through with a 30-point effort, but Greater Beckley Christian was right there with you until the very end. Seemed like they got worn out a little bit. So take us through the second half, a close game. You kind of pull away in that fourth quarter and win by 10.
Yeah, we didn't play very good. Now, I'm going to give Greater Beckley all the credit in the world for that. Maybe it was the first two games of a tough game against Ritchie County. Maybe it was the war against Tucker County, but we didn't play very good the first half. So, we come out of the second half, and again, we're still struggling. We're still struggling a little bit. We'd hit a shot. They'd hit a shot. So, starting into the fourth quarter, I kind of fussed at them a little bit. And I said, guys, we're about ready to give something very precious away here, and they responded. And it started really with Braydun. Braydun hit a shot out of the corner, and I just happened to be right there behind him when he shot it. I don't know if he heard. I don't think he heard me, but I was saying no, 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 and he shot it, and then it went in. How coaches are. No, 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 yes. So the very next possession, we come down.
Right corner.
Braydun comes down. He finds Zayd Rash over there in the other corner. And, he kicks it over there to him, and he hits a three, and that pushed it out to about 4-point lead, gives us a little bit of breathing room, and, felt pretty good about it right then. And then we just made enough plays down the stretch, stretched it out there. But, it was a fight. It was tough. Winning three is mentally, not only physically challenging, but mentally challenging. But I thought Braydun and our kids all played very well.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. And I know it's nearly impossible, given that short list that Kyle just read off there, to see three in a row coming. But, Rabbit, take us back to before you won the first one. And was there an inkling that you had a special group here? Did you see these guys coming a couple years previous? Walk us back before you got the first one and just what you saw coming with this group.
Well, I'll take you back to Braydun's first year. The very first, when he was an 8th grader and he came into Tug Valley as a 9th grader, we start practice. We practiced about 5 or 6 days, and then we play in what they call the Zip Zone Classic over there at Martin County. So we hadn't only practiced about 5 or 6 days, and Braydun is a freshman then. So we go over there, and I didn't start him as a freshman that game. And we got behind, and we was behind about 15 or 16 points. I think it might have been McGoffin County or whoever. I'm really not sure. But I put him in the second half of that. That's the first time I'd really got to see him play. And we come back and won. And I said to myself right there is our starting point guard. So, that was the start of it. We had a good year that year, his freshman year. We went something like 23-4. We won about 19 in a row. But Tucker County, they had a great team that year. And they beat us in the semifinal. So we come back now his sophomore year, and, he's hungry as ever. The kids are hungrier than ever. They got a little taste of success. They come back their sophomore year, and lo and behold, we're lucky enough that Bryson Eli gets the steal with about 13 seconds to go, and he makes a shot with about 4 or 5, and we get a stop down on the other end, and we win our first state championship. So, basically it started out with a little bit of luck.
And you just mentioned another tremendous senior there, and Bryson Eli, also Carson Newman with you, a double-figure score. Again, you've got these building blocks. There's a couple of other seniors on this team as well. You've got these guys that have carried you all the way through this.
I can't say enough about that senior class. Carson Newsom started for 2 years. Tremendous ball handler. He is a legacy player. His cousin, Mikey Newsom, played on the 2012-13 back-to-back state championships. So Bryce and Eli got another senior, Jace Hale, that played for 4 years. Really give our kids something challenging in practice. Sometimes practices, the kids, sometimes they struggle in practice against other lesser kids, but Jace Hale was one who was always ready to practice. I'm very thankful for those 4 seniors.
Rabbit, these are the problems you'd like to have, but after you win a couple of state championships, from a motivational or coaching part of things, did you have to change anything? Did you put some different carrots out there? How did this group respond to going for 3 in a row?
Well, no. We had a meeting this year. After we make our cuts, I didn't cut anybody, but after we find out who our team is, like the second day of practice, I brought that up. And I said, because I was looking through the sports program that they give us, and I said I didn't know really how rare it was, so I got to looking through that, and I found out it was pretty rare that only 6 other teams had won back-to-backs. Had won 3 state championships in a row. So in that meeting, I told him that, and it just kind of took off from there. They start believing, the later in the season it goes, they start coming together a little bit. We got a break here and there, overcome Bryson's injury. He came back. That helped us a lot. And, it was a fight in a straight tournament. It's tough to win 3 straight.
Sure.
Those 3 games, those 3 was very tough, but, thank you, Jesus, we pulled it out.
It's tough to win 1.
Yeah, right.
No matter 3. One thing you said was interesting there, and you talked about the legacy players, and I know you're a basketball lifer. Mingo Central, Williamson, I believe, a decade and a half at Tug Valley now. So when you look into the stands, do you see – you got a kid on the floor. You look up. Well, there's his dad. I watched him play. I coached him. There's his uncle. I watched him. I coached him play. How much of that has carried this program through the decades?
At Tug Valley, it is legacy. They had very good basketball teams. I think Lenore in 1950 was a Class B runner-up. Kermit in the 70s. Then Tug Valley comes into being in 1987, I think. But one of our players this year, Cam Sloan, played on the 1999 Tug Valley State Basketball Championship. Kids are in our locker room, and they want to be Tug Valley Panthers. And I welcome that. I accept that. But I look up in them stands at the state tournament, and you can see all kinds of parents, grandparents, brothers, uncles, of who has been played way before our kids played. But I saw a picture today of Braydun Ferris at our basketball camp. Bryson Eli was at our basketball camp. So it is just legacy after legacy. I've said this 100 times, I know, but there ain't a lot to do in Naugatuck, other than, play basketball. There ain't much else to do. So that's what those kids thrive on. That's what they believe in.
Well,
absolutely.
It's working out. It's working out pretty well there. That just playing basketball there in Naugatuck. It's worked out great for you.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we congratulate you again. We got Braydun on the line here. We're going to visit with him.
Yeah.
But
well, okay. I'll tell you a little story. The very first time I saw Braydun was his dad has a tree cutting service. Okay, and I had some trees cut up here, and he come up here as a little old 8th grader, and he weighed about 140 pounds soaking wet. He's about 5'10", so you might want to mention that to him. That was the very first time I saw you.
All right, very good. Again, Coach, congratulations, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Coach Garland, Rabbit, Thompson there.
Real quick, before you go to Braydun, we should just have Rabbit back on in July just to talk sports. He's a joy to talk to, isn't he?
No question.
Yeah,
no
great
question.
Coach too.
All right, so we talked about the Tug Valley resume. How about this resume? 2,030 career points, including 223 at the state tournament. So 10% of his points have been at the state tournament. 11 career state tournament games, one less than the maximum possible, 3 state championships. So how's that?
Pretty good career
for numbers.
Pretty
Braydun
good.
Ferris with us. Braydun, good evening. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Good evening. How are you?
We're doing great. You remember going to Rabbit's house and helping cut down trees?
Yep, I do. It was my going into my freshman year.
Again, let's get this from your perspective. You know, he told a lot of stories there about you coming to the camp and kids growing up longing to be Tug Valley Panthers. Was that the case with you? Is this something that you aspired to back when you were a little kid?
I mean, yeah, it's always been my dream to play at Tug Valley. I mean, I always looked up to Austin Brewer and Mikey Newsom and that team, and it's just really became a dream come true when I won the 3 state championships.
Each of them mean a little bit different, and I'm not going to ask you to rank them or which one means more, but this one, after already having won 2, and I don't know if it's necessarily pressure, but having to come back and perform, and you know what the expectations are, how'd your mindset change as you headed into this one with already 2 state titles in your back pocket?
Well, we knew it was going to be a lot of pressure because, I mean, Coach always told us there was, I think he said 5 other teams that ever won it. So we knew that, and I think he told us it was like winning the lottery to even win 2. So, I mean, it was definitely something special, and we always had to lock in and get better each day to pursue that.
Where do you think you improved the most through the years? Where did you look to improve, and where do you think your game got better, you know, progressively from a freshman and a sophomore to where you are now?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with defense. And, I mean, everybody always gave me a hard time about my free throws, and I feel like as I got older, and I think I got better at shooting free throws, so I think that was a big part of my game because I always got downhill and got to the free throw line, but I could never swallow the apple really till my senior year. I started shooting a lot better, so I think that was a big part of it.
You know, it's pretty amazing, Kyle. Talk about Braydun's a great leader. Braydun, you scored nearly 30 a game in the state tournament. You put up, 86 points over those 3 games, and you talk about what you improved on. You talk defense first, and that. Were you always a scorer all the way growing up playing basketball? Was that always your deal, as you could score the basketball well?
No, I was really just a pass first guard, really, and I was always a smaller guard, so I really struggled to score. Then my freshman tournament, I had 22 against Bahama, and I think I finally realized that I could actually score. So I think that built the confidence I think that really set my career on scoring, was that game right there against Bahama.
So what's the key at your size to always be able to be around the ball and score? What are some of the aspects of that you've had to work on?
Well, I had to work on I think all good players have to have a good mid-range jump shot, so I really focused on that a lot, and I focused on the 3-ball a lot. I think what helps me scoring a lot is I can hang in the air around the rim and finish really well.
All right, so you have some practice at this. Your community has some practice in welcoming you home. Tell us about when you arrived back from Charleston, what it was like coming back, and what was the celebration like?
I mean, after we win, we always go back to the gym and we always give speeches, and almost half the community comes, and I think it's just a really good thing that the kids get to see that and experience that. Because as a kid, I saw that, and I always wanted to do that, so I think that's great for the community.
Did we get any police escorts, fire engines, fire trucks with sirens going? What do we have going there?
Yeah, we had a parade off through by our middle schools, and I think that was great too. Because our feeder schools, we got to see them again. I thought that was really cool.
Tell us about the super fan that you all visited.
I really don't personally know him, but I know Coach knows him real well. All of our coaches know him real well, and he's always watching our games and supporting us. So I thought that was really cool of us to go shake his hand and give him a hug and give him a piece of net.
Oh, you got a piece of the net, huh? That's great.
And you rolled up in a fire truck there again. That's pretty cool. Let's not underrate that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What's next? I think we asked you immediately after the game. You hadn't had you weren't ready to announce a decision, but do you feel like you want to keep this going? Do you want to play in college?
What is it?
What's the next step for you? Where do you think you'll end up playing in college, or have you made that call yet?
I'm not really made that call. I'll probably make that call in the next month or so. I'm still getting a few other looks, so it's definitely going to be a hard decision.
Yeah, and coming back from the injury, last thing for you, we'll let you go here, but you missed, I believe it was 8 games in the middle of the year. What was that like, and was that difficult to overcome getting injured in the middle of the season and then returning to play at a high level like you did?
I didn't ever get injured.
Oh, I thought Coach said that you missed some games this year. That's not the case.
That was Carson.
Oh, okay.
Carson got hurt last year going into states. He actually cut his hand pretty deep.
Ooh.
Then Bryson Eli, he tore his ACL in football, and he overcame that, and that was just God's work, really.
So you dodged the injury bug. That's a good thing.
Yeah, me and Cameron Sloan and Preston's all dodged it.
All right, very good. Well, again, congratulations on what you've accomplished, both individually and team-wise, 3 state championships, and we wish you the best of luck, and let us know when you make that decision on where you're going to play in college.
Yes, sir, I will, and thank you.
All right, thank you. We appreciate it. Braydun Ferris there, senior guard at Tug Valley, healthy all the way on state championship team number 3.
And he could fill it. Think about that, right? I have that right, 86 points over the 3 games. That's putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah, a lot of state tournament production through the years, no doubt. We'll take a break. We hope to hear from head coach Rich Rodriguez here. Spring football practice. We'll check the text line when we return as well. When it comes to cybersecurity, blind trust is a bad idea. CityNet helps businesses avoid risky connections with proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert local support. Learn more at citynet.net today.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com to apply. That's WVMetroNews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. It makes you feel defeated. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Sitting at Statewide Sportsline, Brad and Kyle with you. We're going to go back to the text line here, and then hopefully we'll get a minute or two with Coach Rich Rodriguez post-practice as that has wrapped up for the day. Steve from Philippi says ESPN should start the women's basketball tournament Thursday instead of Friday. So perhaps that would help with the TV situation.
Well, they are trying to get a little separation there because the men go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So there is some overlap on Friday, obviously, but the women have for a while gone with the Friday, Sunday, and Saturday, Monday configuration. So it does give you Mondays the chance to play for the Sweet 16. You are sitting by yourself. I was more just talking about the start times. To have to play at 1 o'clock in the afternoon would be a tough draw.
Texter says, I agree it was a big Morgantown crowd because I'm from Parkersburg. 79 was not as crowded as it is after men's games. And Texter says, as soon as the game was over, my boss texted me and said we're getting 4 season tickets last year. Well, there you go. There's the bounce.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Texter says they played great, missed several point-blank shots that would have put it in the win column. And let's see. I didn't like the general admission. It made it dicey squeezing in and then rushing to the seats.
Yeah, I get it.
So, that surprised me a little bit. Texter says the atmosphere in the Coliseum was awesome. So proud of the ladies and Coach Kellogg. We're Mountaineer fans, so it was a crushing defeat. That seems to be in our DNA. Texter says I would like to have seen Riley McAlusky get a little bit more playing time against Kentucky with a chance to hit some shots from the outside. Texter says there was, another 3-in-a-row state champion, girls basketball, St. Francis. Morgantown won 87-8. Yeah, we were talking specifically about the boys. I'd have to go through that one day and add up how many girls teams have won. There's probably more, I would think. There's probably more girls teams that have won 3 or more in a row than there are boys teams. Maybe I'll take it upon myself to look that up here this week or next. Let's see. Texter does not like the rule about advancing the ball with a timeout. Why should a team not be allowed to full court press when it has done nothing wrong? Can you imagine calling a timeout in the NFL and automatically moving the ball across the 50 without earning it?
It's a great text because that's a huge debate in basketball circles. There's a lot of leagues that do the advancing of it. Europe does it. NBA does it. Men's college basketball does not. I'll say this. I was glad that was the rule when West Virginia had the ball in those situations. That was one where you went, oh, that's a huge bonus. But I tend to agree with that is you haven't done anything, and it does penalize the defense really for no reason. So I think if you made me decide on that, biases aside, I would tend to agree that I don't know that I love that.
Texter asks, are we at risk of losing Mark Kellogg? I worry about that.
You always worry about that. In today's day and age, everything's temporary. We hope Mark stays. He's done a great job. It sounds like I know that he really likes it here. It doesn't sound like that. I know that he really likes it here. It sounds as if from his comments, you've got him moving forward. And so you just enjoy it while it lasts, and you keep rolling, and you keep showing up and supporting, and that goes a long way. And the positive support goes a long way to keeping coaches in place.
Texter reminds us that Nova Southeastern's in the Elite Eight of the Division II tournament tomorrow.
Why wouldn't they be? That's not even news yet. It's only the Elite Eight. Of course they're still playing.
Yeah, so
our buddy Jim Crutchfield been on this show many times.
We'll certainly be watching that. 304 Talk 304. We'll get our final break out of the way. We hope to hear from Coach Rodriguez post-practice comments after this. Stay with us.
Some relationships just work better with trust, reliability, and great communication. That's why more West Virginians are choosing CityNet Gig Fiber. Fast, symmetrical speeds, no contracts, no data caps, and local teams monitoring the network around the clock. Plus, for a limited time, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for a full year, with plans starting as low as $25 a month. Check availability at your address. Visit citynet.net today. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
Golf Week called Pete Dye Golf Club one of America's best modern courses. Golf Digest recently called Pete Dye one of America's 100 greatest courses, and Pete Dye calls it 18 of the most exciting and memorable holes I've ever built on one course. Pete Dye Golf Club invites you to join the only course named after the legendary designer himself. National, corporate, and local memberships available now for a limited time. Visit PeteDye.com to learn more. Come play where the Mountaineers play at Pete Dye Golf Club.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Stay connected to what's happening today in West Virginia.
What about this and what about that? And it just went back and forth. And I was just the guy reading the text. Okay, so what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, now you just get me fired up. Now you just
So I'm gonna run down to Wendy's and grab a burger, and I'll be back.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
CityNet statewide Sportsline. We're inside the Health Plan Studios for this Tuesday, and we'll take more texts here. 304 Talk 304, trying to get at least a couple of minutes with Coach Rich Rodriguez. Coach Hunter will be back in the studio tomorrow and for the rest of the week, and obviously by then we'll all have an opportunity to kind of digest exactly what he said today, and also Rick Trickett was meeting the media today. So there's a story in itself.
Yeah, that's a story in and of itself, that Trick is back, meeting with the media. That will be entertaining. There is no doubt about that. So, yeah, we'll have some of that as we move throughout the week.
Yeah, 304 Talk 304, your thoughts on the women's game last night. Texter points out that the University of Scranton was 32-0, got to the Division III Women's Basketball Championship and lost. That'd be awful.
We're watching it right now. It's a replay of it.
Okay. So you go undefeated and get to the championship and struggle to close it here. All right, we got a little bit of Coach Rich Rodriguez, and we'll try and just kind of get a flavor of what he was talking about today post-practice with the Mountaineer head football coach.
About 7 weeks. I think we've met on it. They've made a lot of improvements. Strength staff done a good job. I think there's 101 players that will be participating in spring practice. 4 guys are out with some injuries or surgeries. Ashton Woods had a shoulder that we had to fix from the season.
I don't think that's the right stuff. I think that's before practice even started. Live radio.
That's all right.
We're trying to turn something away quickly or turn it around quickly, and sometimes it just doesn't work. But, again, tomorrow, Coach Hunter will be back with us. We'll all dive into it and digest it and have a lot to talk about with the coach.
Yeah, because spring ball is rolling right now. I mean, we're going to look up, and it's going to be over here pretty soon. And there's a lot we've got to discuss about football. We'll certainly have a number of months to do that. But with all the new guys, this new offensive line, I can't wait to hear what Rick Trickett has to say about the personnel, the new line, getting back together, just him being back at West Virginia for his third round of employment here at the university. I'm anxious to hear from him as well.
Why he came back, why he changed his mind. He said a year ago at this time, maybe not for me.
Well, he'll probably tell you the money can influence you a little bit there, right? And it's just, again, I think if you're him, it's not speaking on his behalf, but you come at you're near the end of your career and you get a chance to come back and maybe finish it here. You've got two of your sons on staff. Right, Travis was already here. Chance is on board in an analyst role here, so that's got to be pretty fun for him as well to be back at this university with his sons around him and give it another ride here.
Close to home, 20 miles up the road from where he's from. So that's all part of it. I apologize. As you can tell, the 2 weeks of basketball caught up with me all at once. I wasn't this bad earlier in the day.
Oh, you sound okay. I've done this much worse than you're doing tonight, so you sound fine.
It's a little froggy. Yeah. But, again, and it was, of course, Travis and Fred and I think Luke did 3 weeks. They were all up at the Mountain East Conference tournament the week before. I didn't do that, but, the two solid weeks of basketball has kind of caught up with me. And all the work we do on Sunday and going to Parkersburg and interviewing all the coaches, that's about an 8-hour day where you're talking all day too. But anyway, glad to be here. And again, Coach Hunter will be back tomorrow and we'll get into this spring football situation. They took the week off for spring break and then came back this week continuing spring workouts.
Yeah, and just a lot of unknowns on this. This is going to be one of those off seasons where I think from the perspective, if you listen to this show and what we do, this is going to be a fun 7 or 8 months leading up to this first game because there's so many unknowns. There's a lot to talk about, and it's every position group, right? We'll talk about every position group multiple times here as we move throughout the coming weeks, and that does add some intrigue to this season on all the new faces, the new players, and a chance for Rich to get this thing turned around in year 2.
Also this week, the Major League Baseball season opens. How about that? Thursday afternoon baseball is back.
Starts Wednesday, right? First game's Wednesday?
Is there a Wednesday game?
I thought there was a Wednesday game, and then it starts in earnest for most teams on Thursday, I thought.
Wednesday, Yankees and the Giants at Oracle Park. You're right. That's the season opener, and it's a Netflix exclusive game, apparently. So they're streaming the season opener on Netflix coming up tomorrow night. Yankees and the Giants. The final exhibition games are going on or have gone on today. The Brewers and the Reds. That's a 2-1 game in the 7th inning. And in case you missed it, J.J. Weatherholt made the Cardinals and is going to be the opening day starter at second base and maybe their leadoff hitter.
It's one of those things, selfishly, the Cardinals keep pulling me in.
Yeah.
As a Cubs fan, can't stand your Cardinals, but with Jerko and then Victor Scott, now J.J. Weatherholt, I keep getting sucked back in to have to root for your damn Cardinals.
There's been more former Mountaineers play for the Cardinals than I think any other team. Steve Klein. You go back to Scott Siebel, played a handful of games with the Cardinals and hit a home run. The game I was there one night, it hit a home run against Tanyan Sturts and the Yankees. There's been as many former Mountaineers play for the Cardinals than maybe any other team. All right, Greg will be back. We'll talk Mountaineer football in depth tomorrow night. Join us on the Sportsline.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network. All rights reserved.